Hello, Oregon. My name is Rabbi Fora. I'm a candidate for Governor of Oregon, and this is my weekly address starting on February 28th, 2026. Let's catch up with the week. There is an electricity crisis in Cuba. It is caused by the United States sanctions against the Cuban people, and they are running on emergency power. There is a strategy through Party for Socialism and Liberation to send solar panels to the Cuban people. If you would like to participate in that, I highly recommend you look at the National PSL webpage to find out more information. This is after we had the Venezuelan coup, and I think people need to remember that we still are holding the president of another country who is wrongfully being detained in order to steal that country's oil. This is also a week where we're now in another illegal war with Iran. I oppose all wars. I would immediately move to divest our procurement process from any corporations or nonprofits in association with our large military contractor industrial complex that's occurring. And Anthropic was the AI system being used by the US military. They had 2 red lines: no autonomous kills by AI and no mass surveillance of citizens. When Anthropic refused to remove those 2 red lines, those 2 safeguards, the Pentagon threatened them with legal action and sanctions. Anthropic did not they called their bluff. OpenAI has instead decided to take that contract, so that's ChatGPT. Data centers in Hillsborough. I was just at a community meeting where an independent journalist was talking to us about the data centers in Hillsborough. He showed us footage of dozens of diesel generators already on the parking lots for these data centers. He showed us dozens of lithium batteries the size of trucks that are already on site for these data centers. Why is this so important, my friends? Another thing that this independent journalist mentioned is that the giant cables that run under the ocean, fiber optic cables that provide you and me internet, are the things that data centers are so focused on. Hillsborough is one of 3 places in the entire world where multiple of these underlying cables intersect right in Hillsborough. They are trying to get these data centers as close to those fiber optic cables as possible. Why do I mention it? Because that is not being used as a point of leverage as this conversation heats up. All of these things are connected, my friends. It is no coincidence that they are purposely starving the Cuban people of electricity. They are purposefully suppressing information about what's going on. And at the same time that OpenAI decides to take on this military contract, we then also start a war in Iran. And what is the origin of all of this? These data centers represent the next phase in colonialism's war against us all. And while that might make you think that we should get rid of data centers completely, I need to caution everyone. That is what they're hoping that we will take away from this, because they know that that's actually the hardest way to do it. What we could be doing is taking public control of this infrastructure as a utility. We could be forcing their hand. That leverage point of all of these cables running across and through Hillsborough means that we Oregonians are in a unique position to use that to our advantage with all of these multi-billion-dollar companies. They could instead be investing in our public utilities instead of straining them. That journalist also let me know that these data centers, because of these gigawatt level batteries, are taking energy from the grid at low demand hours and then selling it back out at high demand hours, because they are the only ones with the ability to do large scale storage right now, because the public utilities owned by Vanguard, BlackRock, and other private equity are not investing in the public infrastructure of storing this energy long term. So what does this mean for us? What's our call to action? I believe that you should call your legislators and tell them that you oppose SB 1586 and HB 4084. That is SB 1586 and HB 4084. They are trying to convince you that there is no other reasonable way they can handle these issues. I'm here to tell you that that's wrong. The Public Utility Commission has already attempted to make a separate utility fee for these large factories, advanced manufacturers. The problem is in enforcement. We have a governor right now who has more power than she's letting on for how the Public Utility Commission and other utility commissions operate. She's telling you that she's sending strongly worded letters and she's doing everything she can. But what she's not telling you is that she's funded by the same companies that are desperate to take away our farmland and put giant polluting AI data centers in Hillsborough. It doesn't have to be this way, though. That's why you have a choice. On May 19th, you can vote for me. And I can promise you that I will use every regulatory lever in the playbook to make sure these folks do not pollute our water and our air, and that they pay us for the energy that they're using. I will also deeply invest in public AI infrastructure. And you might be wondering why. Because AI has a kernel of truth within it, as with the combustion engine, as with the printing press, as with the personal computer. There is a kernel of truth that this technology holds hope and promise for the future and for taking the cognitive load off of workers. But the truth, in my opinion, is also that the only way that future comes about is if this technology is in the hands of the working people, which means you, the state, because that's what you are, has direct control. By electing me on May 19th in the closed Democratic primary, you'll be guaranteeing somebody who wants you at the table. Because I don't have all the answers, but I do know when somebody's robbing us blind. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you next week.